Hi, welcome. I'm Laura Pedicolis, and I'm the STEMACES Project Director. I work here at Sonoma State University, and I'm excited to tell you more about our program. Please bear with me while I start to share my screen. So I want to start just by telling you a little bit about how we got started and why we got started. Why are we doing STEMACES anyways? It was started in 2013 by Susan Wandling, who's committed to working with rural students in California, and by Professor Lynn Kaminsky, a physics professor here at Sonoma State University, who had a passion for making sure that students got to experience what it was like to be a scientist in the way that she was a scientist. And this is what still drives this work today. We want students to have the same types of experiences that we have as scientists. I myself am a scientist, I'm a physicist, and I know what it is to do research in physics. And we think that students, they can have these experiences. And the new standards, the new national standards and state standards across the United States have embraced this idea of having students learn about the scientific and engineering practices to be able to get to do what scientists do, but at the appropriate grade level, of course. So we started this program in 2013 through a Department of Education funded program and worked with high schools throughout California in rural areas and in high needs school districts. The idea for that program was to integrate computer science and STEM into a year-long curriculum for ninth grade and to provide on-demand technology support and 80 hours of professional development for the teachers. Through those years, our program was able to develop a robust technology platform that incorporated the technology, engineering, and coding into science classrooms. And in fact, research done in 2013 to 2018 showed that learning by making improved grades in science and math by a half and a whole letter grade. So with that research, together with other research that showed if you do include hands-on standard-based curriculum, together with professional learning for teachers and ongoing teacher support, such as coaching, that students will engage in scientific phenomena, 3D learning, and take unit assessments, of course. Through that, they model computational thinking concepts and practices using these technology, engineering, and coding activities. And after all of that is said and done, they come out with better test scores. They have improved student learning outcomes. This is what we are aiming to do now in middle school by using this learning by making platform in the STEMACES program. So what does that look like? Well, each student gets what we call a basic board, and that basic board then gets plugged into a computer. And on that computer, we have a customized Chrome browser web app. And with these simple tools that, in fact, engineers use, the basic board is built from a breadboard. And breadboards are used by engineers every day to test out their electrical circuits. And so students get to use these tools that are being used every day by professional engineers, but they're using it in a way that's very appropriate for them and their learning in middle school. So this academic year, 2024-25, we've been piloting these activities in classrooms. And here you can see students at Round Valley Middle School engaged in these activities. And embedded in those activities are engineering challenges. The basic board allows them to, you can see here, these students are building their own electrical circuit, which just helps them remember some of their fundamental knowledge that they learned when they were younger. And then they expand on that system to include this breadboard as they use the breadboard to build new connections. And then activity 2, they get the basic board and they make the LEDs turn on and off using coding in the web app. In activity 3, that's when sensors are introduced, specifically a light sensor. The sensor takes in light And then that light gets turned into an electrical signal that interacts with the board, the basic board, and then the computer can communicate with that and get that information. They can then move to these additional engineering challenges. There's an activity to make a night light. So they use the light sensor to detect whether it's dark in the room, and when it is, then they create code to turn the LEDs on. The activity, our fifth activity, is called Winter Coat. It's also an engineering challenge, and the goal is to make the best winter coat to stay warm, and it uses a temperature sensor. And then in the last activity, and they use a position sensor to determine how to measure location and speed or velocity. So these are the activities that we have been building and testing this year that are part of our program now. So we provide classroom activities with STEM plus computing kits. We also provide a paid week-long summer professional learning in the summer. And in that professional learning summer institute, we introduce the activities introduce the activities and the science to the teachers as though they were students. So they kind of put their student hats on. And so they can really get a sense of what are the students going to go through with these activities. These activities are only 3 to 5 days. They only take 3 to 5 days in the classroom. So all told, it's 6 weeks at a maximum of activities. And then the idea is for teachers to experience what is it to integrate these activities, these primarily engineering activities, into their classroom. Because every teacher is going to have a different science curriculum that their school has adopted, that your school has adopted. So we have created a flexible approach so that schools can maintain the curriculum that they have chosen to teach and integrate these hands-on experiences that then can be connected to the curriculum. And so it is at the Professional Learning Summer Institute where the teachers spend time then in the last couple days to build out how they're going to integrate these activities into their classroom. And then throughout the entire year, we are providing virtual trainings with the teachers both from California and Texas, so we can build a robust community of practice between these teachers. And teachers can be both the learners and the experts, depending on what skills and knowledge they're coming to the program with. And so we expect, if you sign up, that the science teachers that would engage with this program, that they would come to the Summer Institute, that they would engage with that institute, that they would come away with their plans, and they would implement those plans in the school year. And that they would partake in the virtual community of practice or professional learning opportunities during the school year when they're implementing the activities. So our expectations, if you chose to join us, of the partners, of the education partners, is that the school or district will provide course enrollment numbers annually for reporting purposes. And we also, because the technology requires access to our platform, then the IT department would need to essentially allow the student logins to log into this app. The student computers need to have a Chrome browser installed on them, and the computers need to allow the UART serial port to be connected to LbyM hardware. This is all details that we can work with the IT departments at your school with. We've done this many, many times, and we just have a meeting. We just need the district or the school to tell the IT department that this is okay. So next I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Kelly Collins, who is our research associate at WestEd, who will tell you about the research program that we're implementing.
Hello, My name is Kelly Collins, and I'm a research associate at WestEd. And if you haven't heard of WestEd, we are an independent education research nonprofit who is partnered with Sonoma State and Angelo State University on this project. And we are acting as the evaluation team uh, for the program, for the STEMACES program. So a little bit about what that means is the evaluations team will be running the study portion of this project. And our goal is to understand the impact that STEMACES has on science performance, student science performance, student computational thinking, and student attitudes towards STEM and exposure to STEM careers. Um, we do have another team working independently from us, the evaluation team, on this project. And we have a really experienced professional learning and development team here at WestEd who has been supporting Sonoma State and offering their feedback on as they further develop the professional learning activities. They are working independently from the evaluation team or the research team. The goal of this study is really to look at the impact of STEMACES on science outcomes amongst the students, the study population as a whole. And it's an attempt to measure student learning in this really new area of computational thinking. In doing so, we are actually developing a new assessment for computational thinking to help us understand changes in student learning in that area. We always like to remind our schools and our teachers that we are not there to judge teacher performance or how well teachers implement or participate in STEMACES, and we're not there to judge individual students. We are really there to look at STEMACES itself and learn about how well it works for teachers and students, not how well they are at using the program. So because of this, this study is going to be what we called a randomized control trial. And what that means is that participating schools will be randomly assigned into either a treatment group or a business as usual group, which is what I also like to call a delayed treatment group. What that means is that the treatment group will participate in the STEMACES professional learning and use the STEMACES activities with students just as was described in the program overview. And the business as usual group will run their class. They will not participate in the professional learning programs or use the activities during the first year, during this upcoming fall, but will actually be delayed by 1 year. So that we can look at how at student outcomes using in the treatment group as they compare to a business as usual group. So we can determine if the differences can be attributed directly to the program itself and no other factors. So for that reason, we will be asking all teachers, all participating students in both groups to allow us to measure student skills and knowledge before and after their 8th grade learning using that assessment I mentioned. And then we'll also be asking for teachers to participate in a couple other study activities, surveys, interviews, a possible classroom observation to help us understand, the student and teacher experience of using STEMACES and the activities and using the learning by making platform. So as I mentioned, those study tasks, treatment teachers will participate in the in-person STEMACES Summer Professional Learning Institute, attend, the virtual sessions during the year and use STEMACES activities in your classroom with your students as was described in the program overview and in accordance with your agreement with SSU and or ASU. And then the control teachers or the business as usual will run their classes as usual with their regular curriculum and activities and professional learning for this first upcoming study year. And then again, I'd like to reiterate that all of the teachers and schools in that business as usual group will get access to all of the same program, professional learning, and teacher supports during the subsequent year, the year after the study data collection has concluded.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the partnership timeline. If you look at this big table at the bottom of this slide, I really just want you to focus on the green sections. So you'll see here, we're talking about recruitment right now, and we're in 2025. So we're right now looking for teams to start in this summer. Then teachers will teach after they participate in the Summer Institute, and then they'll implement the curriculum if they are chosen for the treatment in the study. If not, and they are in the delayed treatment, they will be starting in 2026 in the summer with the program. They will no longer be part of the research. They will just join us in the program. So if you're interested in doing this, there are 2 memorandum of understandings. These are not legally binding. They simply are to help us make sure that we have communicated everything we need from you and that you communicate anything you need to tell us about what's possible and not possible in your school or district. And then, of course, you would also be signing an MOU with the research team so that you and your school and the teachers are understanding the different pieces of the research components. And so you're probably wondering, when are the summer institutes? And here are the dates. The Texas program will start July 7th through 11th in Texas at Angelo State University. And then the California program starts July 28th through August 1st here at Sonoma State University. And so we are very excited that you are interested in our program. This whole year of 24-25 academic year has been a pilot year where we've been testing the different components of the work. And I'm pleased to say that this is a quote from one of our teachers, pilot teachers. All my students say that this is their favorite class and they just want to keep working on this. And she's not alone. This is Angelica's here in California. Davina is one of our Texas teachers, and she has very similar accolades. All of the teachers have been very excited about how the platform and the activities are playing out in their classrooms. So what are the next steps? If you're interested in participating, you should email edion@sonoma.edu. And then we will email out this presentation and a checklist of next steps. You can schedule a follow-up meeting with your district if you're a teacher or an appropriate decision maker as needed. Ultimately, you'll be asked to sign, read through, red line, a memorandum of understanding, 2 of them, one for the program and then one for the research. And once you sign those, then we'll do our research team at WestEd will do a randomization basically of the schools in the pool, and then you will be assigned either to the treatment in this upcoming year or business as usual. And so that will happen at the very latest at the end of May. Okay, well, we really hope that you'll sign up with us and make this program successful for our students and improve the students in this country's learning of science. Thank you very much.